A very good afternoon. Welcome to BBC London. I'm Thomas Magill. First, this lunchtime, an inquest has found a 32-year-old man who died shortly after receiving his first COVID vaccine, AstraZeneca, died due to unintended complications. About to start a new job at Great Ormond Street Hospital, Dr. Stephen Wright is thought to be one of the first people in the world to die after developing a reaction 10 days after being given the drug. Following the inquest, our correspondent Carl Mercer spoke to his widow, Charlotte Wright.
It provides relief, but it doesn't provide closure. I think that we're only going to get that when we have an answer from AstraZeneca and the government.
And an apology.
We
would love them to apologise to us, to say, you know, we're sorry your son and your husband died. We're sorry your children are growing up now without a father.
What was Stephen like?
He was the most amazing husband.
He was a brilliant father, wasn't he, to the two boys. And it's a lovely son. It was just everything anyone could ever want in their son to be, couldn't he? And kind, caring.
I find it very comforting that I have two boys that remind me of him every day. Sorry.
It's all right. Yeah. And he had the best sense of humour.
There's just so many words that I can describe him with, and
I'd like to say he loved his job as well, didn't he? He was a clinical psychologist, and he loved the children he worked with. He loved the young people, and he had a real, what's the word, empathy with them, and they seemed to really get on with him as well. And had a growing private practice as well, as he was just about to start Great Ormond Street 1 week after he died. He'd had a new job. He never got to do that, but we're still proud that he got it.
I'm just very thankful that I got to marry such a great man and raise our boys in his honour.
The mother of Stephen Lawrence, the teenager killed in a racist attack in Eltham 30 years ago, says she hopes his legacy will be as an inspiration to other young Londoners. Baroness Doreen Lawrence has been paying tribute to her son ahead of the anniversary of his death this weekend. She continues to work for the foundation set up in her son's name to help young people achieve their potential, and says she hopes teenagers today will see Stephen as a role model.
He wanted to be an architect, and we helped support him to help him to achieve that, to achieve his dreams. And I think that's what I'd like young people to see Stephen as, like a role model, and for them to see him just like themselves. The world is their oyster, and we need to be able to help them because they're the next generation.
The head of the Met, Sir Mark Rowley, has admitted there are severe shortcomings, but it's not the same force it was 20 or 25 years ago. And there will be a church service at St Martin in the Fields and other events to mark Stephen Lawrence Day this Saturday. Surrey Police has been reprimanded for recording more than 200,000 phone calls without people's knowledge. It followed the rollout of an app which recorded phone conversations with criminals, victims and witnesses. It also captured some personal data, according to the regulator, the Information Commission. Surrey Police say plans are now in place to ensure future apps will be compliant with the law. The chain store bakery Greggs has launched an appeal to overturn a failed application to sell its famous steak bakes and sausage rolls throughout the night at its flagship store in Leicester Square. Westminster City Council blocked their plans following objections from the Met Police, who warned longer hours could lead to more crime in the area. The reality TV star Georgia Harris and the domestic abuse charity Refuge are calling on better online protection for women on social media. They want to see more measures put in place in the government's online safety bill, which is being discussed in the House of Lords today. Georgia's ex-partner Stephen Bear was jailed for 21 months and found guilty of voyeurism and sharing private sexual videos online.
We need a code of practice to be added into that to make sure that we are protecting women and girls. At the moment, there's many things that they've already got on there that are going to make a change, but absolutely nothing helping protect women. Following on from obviously my quite traumatic experiences, it's got a lot worse, and I do feel like it is really hard to be heard from the owners of social media companies, and that's simply because they're not being held accountable.
Now, meet David Pixley. He's a remarkable 90 years young, and he is going to be the eldest competitor at this week's London Marathon. David will walk the route in aid of Bowel Cancer UK in memory of his sister, who he lost back in 1974. But don't be fooled, despite David's age, he says that he might be the eldest, but he doesn't intend to be the last over the line on Sunday. He's been speaking to Michael Mackenzie.
He's the oldest competitor running in this year's London Marathon. At age 90, David Pixley will walk the race rather than run. He's hoping to do it in 7 hours.
It takes me 2 hours to do 6.9 or so miles, and that I call that a good run. At the weekends, as if I'm approaching a marathon, I'll go and walk again in the afternoon. To make them mount up. I have to do it in 2 lots because I'm a carer for my wife here, and most of the time in between I've got to be around.
The 90-year-old has run 13 marathons in his lifetime.
That was my last one, yes. I was struggling then. It took me about an hour longer to do that. It was 5 hours and something, so that was when I was 64, and I said, well, now is the time to give up marathon. So that was my last run marathon.
David will be running the race in honour of his sister, who died of bowel cancer 50 years ago. And he uses flyers to get donations.
It says London Marathon 2023 for Bowel Cancer UK. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's very kind.
And that was one member of the public that had just donated.
She took this, and at 8 o'clock in the morning, I looked at her and she'd paid her, give her a donation. And it's absolutely wonderful. So kind, these people.
And for David, he hopes to continue raising money as long as he can. Michael Mackenzie, BBC London.
Well, what an inspiration. Good luck to David for the weekend. OK, time for the weather now with Elizabeth.
Hello there, good afternoon. We've seen a mixture of cloud but also some brighter spells so far today, as illustrated by our Weather Watcher pictures here. But as we head through this afternoon, I think there'll be more in the way of sunshine. We do still have that rather chilly, nagging easterly wind blowing, and it will feel quite cold in exposure to that up through the Thames Estuary, Kent and Essex in particular. But lots of sunshine and brightness for the rest of the day. Top temperatures in the best of that, peaking at around 13 to 15 degrees Celsius, so a little warmer than it was yesterday for most of us. Now through this evening and overnight, it's set to stay dry with clear skies for many, particularly at first, and temperatures will drop a little lower than they did last night. So it's generally a chillier start to the day on Thursday. Thursday it should stay dry for most of the day. There'll be some sunshine through the morning. We've still got that brisk easterly wind blowing, remember, with high pressure out towards the northeast. There could just be a few showers blowing through on that by the time we get to the end of the day, and I think the showers will become more frequent as we head through Friday. So more showers, more cloud on Friday, a dip in temperature too over the weekend. It's not going to be feeling very warm. The winds will be lighter, but again, there will be some showers at times in the forecast.
OK, much more on all of today's stories online, including some pictures from the first rehearsal of the King's Coronation procession, which took place in the early hours of yesterday morning. We'll be back at the usual time of 6:30 tonight. Until then, have a lovely afternoon. Bye-bye.